Now, the Pokemon Company have just revealed some more of the products coming out for the 30th anniversary celebration, and we're going to be taking a look at the new cards that have just been revealed alongside the new stuff. Now, a couple of things to point out. One, the microphone sounds different. I'm on a different PC. I own two because I'm awesome. One at my girlfriend's, one at mine. I'm on the one at English. I'm on the one at mine right now, which has not got as good of a mic. Next up, we are not talking about all the products that have just been released, so all the different sets and all so on. It's just the promo cards that are coming with them, or the cards that have been revealed, that we're going to be talking about. And I should also specify, it's only the cards that have been revealed with this new wave of stuff. The cards that we knew were already coming, such as the Greninja or Sylveon, or the Espeon or the Pikachu or Mewtwo, all those sort of ones you've already seen, we're not talking about. It's just purely the new cards. And I'm sorry if the images aren't the greatest, or the translations that I've done. I say translations, I've written everything out so you can see it clearly, just in case the images are bad. If they're bad, I apologise. But I was in a rush to make this because I am really excited, in particular, for one card, which I'm going to get onto in a minute. Now, starting things off, we have got Nidorina. This is going to be the ETB promo, and fun fact, the reason it's Nidorina is because Nidorina is number 30 in the Pokédex, and this is, of course, the 30th celebration. So it's kind of cool they've done that. Now, moving on to the actual card, it is a Dark type with 90 HP. It has the ability of Share Happiness. Once during your turn, you may use this ability, heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. And then for the attack, you've got 2 Colourless Energy, Bite for 30 damage. It's nothing crazy, and right now we haven't really got a really good Nidoqueen. I'm obviously going to assume there's going to be one if there's a Nidorina promo, and I'm hoping it's going to be decent. Now, this ability isn't broken. I think it's decent for a stage 1 middle evolution sort of ability. It's better than what Dracloak is, because Dracloak's broken. This one isn't as broken, so I like it more because it's more fun. Yeah, it's nothing crazy, like I said. I mean, for 30 damage, for 2 energy, isn't great at all, in all honesty. Even for weakness, that's only 60 on the Psychic Pokemon, and there's not many Psychic Pokemon that only have 60 HP. But it's still not bad in terms of the ability for a middle evolution, like I said. But that's about all I have to say for this one. The art does look quite cool, and obviously, like I said, it's the ETB promo, so hopefully there'll be a decent amount of them, as well as obviously it will just be in the main set as it is anyway. Now, moving on, we have got the Victini. This card is part of the Espeon EX Battle Deck. This is like the special illustration promo card that you're going to get for it. Obviously, it's a fire type with 80 HP for 1 colourless, call for family, which is really good. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, then put them onto your bench and shuffle your deck. It's one of the most well-known attacks in the game because it helps you search for basic Pokemon. Doesn't just have to be non-Roblox, it can be any basic Pokemon, whether it's an EX or not, which is pretty good. And then you have V-Flame, 1 fire, 1 colourless for 50 damage. It's nothing crazy, and I will admit I am surprised it's in an Espeon deck, which is obviously revolving around Psychic, and this is a fire type. So it will be an interesting thing to see what is in the rest of the deck. But besides that, it's not bad. It's a fire Pokemon that has Call for Family. We don't have too many of them, so, you know, there's always a good thing to have more of. And then moving on from Victini, we have got Zeraora. This is in the Umbreon EX battle deck, which, again, I'm surprised this is in it, considering it's a Lightning type and Umbreon's a Dark type. But again, we don't know what the contents of the EX battle deck is yet, so it could synergize with it very well, for all I know. Now, obviously, Zeraora is a Lightning type. 110 HP. For 1 colourless, you do Rapid Draw, 20 damage and draw a card. It's nice if you're going turn 1 going second and you have a bad hand, it just gives you a chance to draw something else. And then for 1 lightning, 1 colourless, Electro Bullet for 50 damage also does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I feel like these 2 Pokemon that are in the EX Battle decks are okay at most. The art on them both looks really nice, in my opinion. But I'm not sure how they're going to be doing meta-wise. Obviously, we're focusing way more on how they're going to do meta-wise in this video, because that's what my channel was about. But it will still be interesting to see what else is included with them. Now, moving on, we have got a Eevee. This comes from the 2-pack blister and the Knockout collection, which I believe are the same thing. You get 2 packs, a coin, and this promo card. But that's not the main thing we're focusing on, like I said. Eevee, it's a colourless type for 70 HP, so it's not bad. Obviously, it can still be searched out by Buddy Puffin. It takes you out of range of Dragapult. For one colourless, you're doing fetch and hide. Your opponent reveals their hand, and you put an item card you find there onto the bottom of their deck, which isn't too bad, to be fair. If you go in turn one, going second, you can use this and potentially stall them a bit more, which is kind of cool. And then for one colourless, you do tackle, 10 damage, nothing crazy. Now, I am just going to quickly compare this to the other EV that is the main one that people run when they run a evolution deck. Obviously, it has less HP. It's in the range of being knocked out by Dusclops or Dragapult's ability, but it has got the ability where if it's in the active spot, it can evolve in the first turn or the turn you play it, so you can evolve it straight away. But then obviously it's doing 30 damage, but for 2 energy, and it does 10 damage to itself. I feel like when it rotates out, the the newer one that we've just been revealed, is going to be better. And even then, I feel like the one with 70 HP could still see more play potentially because it has that higher HP, which is a better chance of survivability to your next turn. I mean, all in all, though, EV decks aren't exactly massive, and the cards that we have been revealed for the 30th anniversary set aren't the craziest. But obviously, if there's going to be a battle deck, this Eevee's going to be in both the battle decks because it's Espeon and Umbreon. Now, moving on, we have got the poster collection, which has the 3 legendary birds. Now, this one is a bit dodgy because we've not been shown scans of the cards yet at all. And obviously, unless they do release scans, we're not going to know what it is because we get it at the same time as Japan and everywhere else in the world. But I've kind of summed up the ability because they all have the same ability. It's flapping, so it's either I think that's meant to be Z Pop or something pop. Flapping for Zapdos, Frosty flapping for Articuno, and Fiery flapping for Moltres. Essentially, if you have the other 2 legendary birds on your bench, you can attach either a water energy for Articuno, a fire for Moltres, a lightning for Zapdos from your hand to the Pokemon, which is pretty nice. So essentially, if Articuno's in the active, or not even the active, if you have basically got all 3 of the birds down, then if you have a fire energy in your hand, you can put it on Moltres for free, water for Articuno, and electric for Zapdos, as I've just said. Now, the Articuno card is the one that we can actually see the whole image of. The other 2 have got bits of their card missing, so they're kind of summed up. But the Articuno is obviously a water type, 120 HP. 2 water, 1 colourless, hail, 30 damage to all your opponent's Pokemon. It's nothing crazy, but it's interesting. I don't think any of these 3 cards are going to be holy crap OP. I feel like if you're running them, you've got to run them in a deck with each other, but none of them really seem to be that broken. But for 30 damage to all your opponent's Pokemon, that's good, unless you're fighting a Terra type, because Terras don't take bent damage, or if there is a Shaman down, because they protect anything that hasn't got a rule box. Sorry, I did just forget what it was, so it might sound a bit funny when I cut it off then. I don't know why I forgot, but I did. Now, moving on to the Zapdos, it's also 120 HP, and it's lightning. Attack is assumed to be 2 lightning, 1 colourless to theme with the others. It does 210 damage, but also 60 damage to itself. So 210, you're knocking out things like Fez or Latias. Oh my god, what is with me today? As well as all the other sort of weaker Pokemon, which is good because they are all support Pokemon and they get knocked out with 1 attack from a basic, which, while yeah, it does cost 3 energy, that isn't bad. It could be a good sniper. I feel like Zapdos is the only card here that potentially could find its way into another deck as like a single Brighter attack. But obviously the 60 damage done to itself, you can only do that attack twice before it's killed itself, unless you do something like a Jumbo Ice Cream, because obviously it's going to have 3 energy, so you can do a Jumbo Ice Cream to it. Then lastly, there is a Moltres. It's a fire type, and I'm going to assume it's 120 HP because the other 2 were, but we can't see. And we can't actually really see how much damage the attack does. All we know that it does, it's 2 fire, 1 colourless, theming with the others again. And all we know is that you have to discard 2 energy. Don't know if it's from a bench Pokemon or Moltres himself. And we don't know how much damage it's going to be. But I would assume if it's discarding 2 energy and it's going to be from himself, that it will be a decent attack like Zapdos's. I still think Zapdos is probably going to be the best one because we've already got a very good Moltres, which can one-shot a lot of EX Pokemon because if it's weak to fire, and it only requires 1 fire energy. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out when it does come around. I feel like it could be a fun road deck when you can get it going, but it will struggle meta-wise, especially against things like the one and only Dragapult. Now, post-editing, and as soon as I was about to upload this video, I was making a thumbnail, I realised they did in fact do scans of all the cards, so he can clearly see what these Zapdos and Moltres are. So ignore me guessing in the past one, that's my bad. Either I didn't look, or they just didn't put the scans up before. Regardless, here we are now. We know what Articuno does. We know what the ability does. It's Flash Pop on Zapdos. Didn't expect that as a name. I also didn't see that Zapdos is actually 4 energy, not just 3 with the others. So I still think it'll be okay with the right acceleration, but it's a bit harder to pull off now. And obviously Moltres, going back to the 2 energy, 1 colourless, 130 damage, you discard 2. I don't think it is that great. I was expecting a bit more for discarding 2 energies on the basic Pokemon, but then again it is basic, so what was I expecting? But it's still nowhere near as good as the other one that's come out. But yeah, so a lot of what I've just said has now been made irrelevant, but I had already edited the video together and I was in the process of uploading it to YouTube, making the thumbnail, and then I'd seen this. So quickly pasting this in afterwards, I still think it would be interesting as a sort of rogue deck, and Zapdos might still find its place in a lightning deck as a rogue backup attacker single prizer. Now up next we have got Mew and Mewtwo. These both come from a figure collection. There's one for Mewtwo, one for Mew. They're 2 separate things. The Mew is Psychic for 60 HP, so that's actually quite low, and it can be one hit by the Nidorina that we said at the start of the video. For 2 Psychic Energy, it does Psychic, 10 damage, plus 40 for each energy attached to the opponent's active Pokemon. I don't think that's going to be too crazy. A lot of meta decks run low cost attacks. Like, if you look at something like a Enzoroark, that only requires 2 Dark Energy attached. So that's doing 90 damage. If it's fighting something like a Hydreigon, where obviously it needs to have, 4 or 5 energy attached for its big main attack, then that could be more interesting, but that's very situational. And like I said, a lot of the meta cards now, their attacks are never that big. Yeah, I don't think the Mew's going to be that interesting. Moving on, though, we have got the Mewtwo, also a Psychic for 130 HP, so it's a bit more. For 1 Psychic Energy, it's Empower, attached to 2 basic energy cards from your discard to one of your Pokemon. Now, obviously, it doesn't just have to be Mewtwo. It can be any of your Pokemon that are on your bench, or even if you do want to attach it to Mewtwo, you can, which is interesting. I feel like it could be a good, again, turn 1 going second thing to power up your other Pokemon. And it's not limited to just Psychic Energy. It can be any energy that are in your discard pile. So, not the worst in the world. But then moving on, we have got Psydrive for 120 damage. It costs 2 Psychic and 1 Colorless. Discard an energy from this Pokemon. Still not that interesting, in my opinion. It essentially costs 3 energy to do 120 damage, which isn't massive because you're not one-shotting any EX Pokemon with that. And even then having to discard an energy, I don't think it's that great for has little damage as it is. Don't get me wrong, the art's cool on them, but in terms of meta, I don't think either of them are going to see much play. Maybe the Mewtwo to help set the energy up early on some bulkier Pokemon, but that's all I can really think of, to be honest. Now, coming up on our last couple of things, first up we have got Ditto. Before we actually get into it, the art on this looks phenomenal. I will be needing one because it looks sick. But of course, so Ditto itself is a colourless Pokemon for 70 HP, so it can be Buddy Poffined. For 2 colourless, you have Surprisingly Transform. Flip a coin, and if it's heads, you can search your deck for a Pokemon and switch it with this Pokemon. All attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns in play, and other effects remain on the new Pokemon. And if you do switch a Pokemon in this way, this Ditto card goes back into your deck, and then you shuffle it. Obviously, when 151 came out, we did get this Ditto, which had the ability where if it's your first turn, you could search your deck for a basic Pokemon and swap it with the Ditto if the Ditto is in the active slot. And then you would discard it and all the attached cards and energy and so on. Obviously, that rotated out when G-Block got rotated out with Perfect Order. Now, in my opinion, the new Ditto is going to be way better, and I would not be surprised if a lot of decks run at least 1 copy. Obviously, this one is an ability, and it's an attack, so it'd be something you do at the end of your turn, and it's not even guaranteed, because if you get Tails on it, then it's just staying a Ditto until your next turn, and you're risking it getting knocked out, because it's only got 70 HP. But that being said, as mentioned, it's any Pokemon. So if you're running, say, a Mega Lucario deck, you can completely skip the Riolu. I don't know why you would, because it's a one-stage evolution, so it's a bad example. Tell you what, I'll do you one better then. We'll say Cynthia's Garchomp. I'm doing my best to say anything other than Dragapult, because I hate that deck. Say you want to skip the Gible and Gabite, all you've got to do is flip a coin, and if it's heads, you've now got Cynthia's Garchomp EX in play. But as I said, I still think there's going to be a lot of meta decks that are running this Ditto, especially ones that have something like a Stage 2 evolution line in them, because you can completely skip the other parts of your evolution line and put it straight down. Now, up last, we have got these two promos from the Tech Sticker collections. We're going to start off with Lucario, fighting for 120 HP. Nothing crazy, but it could be an interesting one to put into a Mega Lucario deck as a single prizer. 2 fighting, 1 colorless, Aura Sphere, 100 damage, also does 60 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Nothing crazy. It could be a really rogue thing to put in there, but even then, if you're running Mega Lucario, you're running a Hariyama, which kind of does better damage. Yeah, nothing too wowish there. I'm way more focused on the Alolan Executor below, Grass for 150 HP. Its ability, Scale Up. If this Pokemon has 6 grass energy attached, it gets 250 more HP. Now, with 150 HP on a stage 1, bear in mind, that's already pretty decent, considering a lot of stage 2 single prizes have about, what, maybe 170 HP? If you have 6 grass energy attached to it, which might seem like a lot, that's 400 HP, which is massive on a stage 1 single prize as well. And I mean, you could take it even further. If you put down a Hero's Cape, it's 500 HP. That's the highest HP you're getting in the game. And then for the attack, it's 1 grass, 3 colorless, Mega Drain, 150 damage, and heal 150 HP from this Pokemon. I can't lie, in terms of meta, from all the cards that have just been revealed, the Alolan Executor is the one that I'm most excited for. And when it comes out, I will 100% be making a deck with this on PTCGL and seeing how it does, because for 400 HP, that is insanely good for a card that only gives them 1 prize. Obviously, it needs 6 grass energies, which could be a bit annoying, but all you really need, Meganium, 100%, that is not even a question. For those of you who don't know what Meganium does, if you have Meganium in play, all basic grass energies count as 2 rather than 1 energy. So all you need is 3 energies attached to it, and then it's got 400 HP. And you can accelerate that even further by if you had a Teal Mask Ogapon and you had some energy switches, so you can accelerate the energy even faster. You could be looking at, like, turn 2, a Pokemon that's ready to fight with 400 HP. Now, obviously, it's going to need to have some playtesting when it does happen, and I'm hoping that they release actual scans of the cards so you can get a better view of them, and then I could potentially look at making like a proxy deck and trying it out because it looks really fun. But all that being done and said, that is all that we have been revealed so far. Obviously, if more get revealed, then I will try my best to make another video on it. I was literally just on my PC playing Minecraft, and then I got a notification in my friend's Discord that they released some stuff, had a look on Poke Beach, and there it was as well. So hopefully, if they reveal more stuff, I can cover it. But even now, from what we've been seeing, some stuff looks pretty cool. I think most of these are definitely here just for their art. The Victini and Zeraora look great, and so do the Nidorina. But their attacks, all in all, I don't think stand out too much, especially like from a meta standpoint. And especially that Alolan Executor, like I said, as I've kept saying for the past 3 minutes, I am really excited for it. But all that being said and done, I'm going to leave that video here with you guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you think any of these other cards are going to be meta? Do you think the Executor is going to be good or not? Do you think if anything's actually got a chance at doing something to the meta, or is Dragapult just going to stay dominant until its rotation in April next year? And obviously, if you did in fact like this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, where I try and post all the stuff about TCG, specifically Pokemon. Obviously, my channel is very much playing side of Pokemon. I collect it as well, and I am going to be hopefully queuing up, not as early as 4 AM, but still queuing up to try and get some of this product. But all the stuff that's on this channel is going to be regarding playing. Yes, please do be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Orthorn. Have a good day.